What's up, y'all? It's Teal, and today we're gonna be looking at more of Riddler Ku's riddles for the Indigo Disk. Let's go. Obviously, last time we ended off with this riddle, which suggests that Dokutaro will be a peach that opens up, and maybe there's something else inside. And this one, which hints that a certain Pokemon in the game, the former mightiest Pokemon, was supposed to get a Terastos state, which we think is like Mewtwo or Rayquaza, but it's scrapped now. And we ended off with this, which is this picture that says "Go burn everything," which we think is a reflection of Heat's Terapagos drawing, just to imply to us that if we get Terapagos to its final form, it's gonna be some chaos monster. Go burn everything. Oh yeah, and this one with Terapagos showing and 4 potential typings: normal, psychic, rock, and dragon. My prediction is still gonna be like rock and psychic as Terapagos' typing, which I know sounds weird, but it fits in. You show this picture, you show rock, psychic, it just works. Alright, so let's go to the new riddle. So about this tweet here, Ku actually extends it and writes, "As you can expect, regular type, 19th type." So he's talking about Terapagos having 3 forms, still up in the air. We won't know till the DLC comes out. So regular type for you, and I guess he's saying this one is the 19th type. But you know, since he lists it as 3 separate ones, it really brings more support to the idea that all 3 of the forms are different typings. So like we said last time, rock, psychic for you, normal for you because it's like he evens out all the typings, and then 19th type for the third one. You know, a while back, Ku also hinted the way the 19th type works would be something like how it's shown in the trailer with the typings swapping around. We still don't know what's up with that. It might be something like the third Terapagos form is just pure 19th type, let's call it crystal type, and maybe that special crown is spinning on Terapagos' head, kind of indicating what would be strong against it. So, you know, maybe if you use water and grass moves against it while the rock is in the front, even though it's the 19th type, maybe it does boost the damage. It's hard to tell. I'm just glad the freaking 19th type is real. Y'all let me know in the comments, if all 3 of these are to have different typings, how would you arrange it? What typings would they be? The next tweet, Ku puts this. It's a picture of Zygarde, Ultra Necrozma, Eternamax, man, and oh, to see him in such a respected light. Also, to make a turtle look this threatening. Let me think about it, that thing is a turtle, and it might be the strongest creature alive right now. You know, the closest thing to a turtle, aside from the Uranoshimako story, is that whole world turtle crap. Do you think that old theory about Paldia being on Terapagos could be still true? I suppose not. I think the better focus for what turtle it is that time-traveling turtle. So I really have to see how this plays out in the DLC. But yeah, he writes, "Who is or gonna be the GOAT?" So Ku's asking us which is the strongest. Right now, the strongest is Eternatus. But that's just going off base stats. Half of me thinks Game Freak just gave it those crazy base stats just to make it an overpowered boss. Not because that's how strong it really is, but it kind of does make sense to me if you overloaded Eternatus and it grew into this form, that it actually would have those base stats. So let's talk about Zygarde and Necrozma. I think freaking Terapagos could be the strongest thing, the new GOAT. This is gonna be my order: Necrozma 3rd, Eternatus 2nd, Terapagos 1. Only because this freaking dude's crystals are infinite. And this man has a 19th type now, he's clearly on a whole other level. What the frick is Zygarde gonna do? Who do y'all think? Who is the top dog among these 4? Alright, next tweet. Ku posts this. It's a picture of Briar, the almighty lady, descendant of Heath. She's kind of a walking contradiction. The clothes she wears is half from Pokemon Scarlet and half from Pokemon Violet, the 2 books, despite only 1 book existing. She got the Terapagos earrings. The biggest theories out there is that she's evil and maybe the one who's gonna release Terapagos to the world, and maybe doing it to enlighten the world that Heath was telling the truth, everything was real. Which is not a bad villain at all, though. I'm more interested in Kieran being the one to cause all that. But Ku writes, "Sorry to her fans, she is useless battle-wise." Now listen, if this was a few months ago, I would be so sad to read this, but I actually am happy to read this right here. I think it adds more flavor if Kieran, who's not even involved with all this crap, comes to Blueberry Academy and sets his fire everywhere. It also makes her just an earnest character that's gonna supply us with all the Heath lore. So you know what, I'll take it. But there's also kind of a fine print here, which is that she is useless battle-wise. You know where she's not useless? The freaking copious amount of Heath crap she knows. She has all the manuscripts from Heath. She probably has the original documents of Heath describing every single Paradox Pokemon. If something were to happen in the final battle and the only way we can beat Terapagos is with some weakness, she'd be the one person to know it. Man, there's also a big theory I have for her and Heath, but we can't talk about it in this video. But even if she is useless battle-wise, for the people who want her to be evil, she still can be evil and be the one releasing Terapagos. She doesn't have to be a strong fighter to be the villain in that sense. And remember, she does have those Bramblin eyes, so I guess when we get to know her more in the second DLC, maybe she just has like a partner, Bramblegast, and that's just her freaking associate, or she just has a partner. Next tweet, Ku posts this picture of the Ultra Beast and then the sad face. I mean, I think the gist here is that the Ultra Beasts are not in the second DLC, like not in the code at all. Next up, Ku tweets this 3 out of 8, which there isn't a clear answer even now what this is. I mean, March 8th, 3 out of 8. And when we try to dig him for more about this, give us a hint about what this is, please. He says it's something related to the second DLC. But then, it's not a date. It would be weird if that second DLC came out in March. But after enough pestering, Ku finally says, it's about availability. 3 out of 8. It's about availability and it's for the second DLC. This probably refers to a certain Pokemon or a group of Pokemon. This kind of takes me back to this, which is the data mine of the missing Pokemon in the code, which does add up to 8 slots. So maybe Ku is saying that of the 8 new Pokemon, about availability, only 3 of them we would be able to get naturally, or 3 we wouldn't be able to get. What do we think these are again? Dipplin Evolution, Archaludon, the 4 Paradoxes, Terapagos, and maybe Dokutaro. Maybe the 3 out of 8 is about Pokemon we can't normally get, and which would maybe be Terapagos, Dokutaro, and Dipplin Evolution. About Dokutaro, I would assume someone says, will a child emerge from inside? Ku says not a child. This is further reinforcing that something's freaking inside the peach. The peach is just its shell in some sense. Alright, next tweet. See, this one is a bit weird. Ku says, have you noticed yet? The second DLC is still complete without the Momotaro part. We kind of always tied Momotaro to Kieran's role in the second DLC. If the second DLC can be completed without involving Dokutaro at all, which sounds like what he's trying to say here, then it makes it sound like some optional crap, like maybe in the main story, you don't actually like convert him over after you beat him. Like maybe he's just like Steven in Red at the end of the game, where you go find him somewhere and he's just captured Dokutaro. And you know, it's a secret optional boss. Some people in the comments though jump to some pretty crazy ideas that of course we would love, but I don't know if it would happen. Like this tweet here, which is saying that the Momotaro part has such little involvement with the second DLC because there's a third DLC that's supposed to go more in depth. I think maybe down the line Game Freak would start doing 3 DLCs, 4 DLCs, but for now we're just gonna pretend it's these 2. There's no use thinking down that. But people try digging Ku for more info, right? Look at this one. Someone asks, how lore heavy is the second DLC? I feel like there's still a lot of questions we need answers to, which is true. What really are the Paradox Pokemon? Are they really from the past and future? What's Terapagos? What is the answer to the paradox in the game about how Sarantur pulled out the Paradox Pokemon, but they already existed 200 years ago? And then what is freaking Dokutaro? What's the answer to what he saw in his visions? He said it looks like he spoke to someone. I think that's most of them, but there is a lot to answer in this DLC. So how lore heavy is part 2? Ku responds saying, it's rich, a lot to grind. Which is great news. All those freaking questions I said, if we get just a couple answers, not even all of them, that would be incredible. A lot to grind. That part kind of throws me off. That sounds like level grinding. And look at this one though. Someone asks, from 0 to 10, what rating do you give for the battle against Terapagos? We all know there's a battle against Terapagos, but is it gonna be something poo-poo? Like freaking Eternatus? Just because I was in a battle, though it was kind of sick? Is it gonna be like Ultra Necrozma, which had the ambience perfect and like the lore set up perfectly to walk up to this kind of misunderstood Pokemon and have to beat it? Or it could be something like freaking Zygarde, where there is nothing, you know? Terapagos just has a backseat role. You know, as if we just have a simple battle with Terapagos because the story is more about what its crystals can do than actually Terapagos. But Ku says, from 0 to 10, what rating do you give it? Epic. That's all I want to hear. We have so much built up towards this Terapagos moment. I want it to be at least decent. But remember, even though he said epic, he trolls sometimes. He could be saying that sarcastically. But yeah, back to the base tweet. Sudachi 2 is still complete without the Momotaro part. I think what I said earlier is probably what it's gonna be. Dokutaro just might be a special Pokemon you find somewhere after you've beaten the Indigo Disk, or it's somehow on Kieran's team with him being some like secret post-game boss. Either way, it kind of throws us off a little because Kieran does have that aura, so it's like he has Dokutaro's aura in a sense, but the actual Pokemon itself doesn't play a significant role, which of course is kind of confusing in of itself, but we got to see how it plays out. And we end this video with this last riddle, and this is the last thing Ku's tweeted, so we're caught up, and it's a picture of Lacey, and Ku writes, "She is Puzzle Queen." Couple ways to take this. Since she is an Elite Four member, maybe the way Blueberry Academy would work, oh frick, maybe instead of fighting them as like an Elite Four, they just kind of work out as 4 gym leaders. So, you would meet Lacey in her own gym-like area, and you'd have to do a puzzle to get to her. What if the 4 quadrants of the terrarium are each ultimately run by these 4? And so if they were to give you some tasks to complete before you can fight them, you would maybe be exploring their individual parts. And maybe in that way, it would kind of be 4 ongoing mini-stories. Anyhow, she's Puzzle Queen, who knows what it means. Though someone does point out in the comments, because Ku's new profile picture is Lacey. So it's, of all the characters he could have chosen, right? So it's like Lacey has some sort of role in the story involving like puzzles or some kind of deception or trick, which is why Ku picked her to be the icon of him being the Riddler. And then also him saying she is Puzzle Queen. Well, and that's everything. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think and what you think about Kieran somehow being evil and having the purple aura and sounding like he would be the one to cause the crap to go down in the second DLC, upset Terapagos. But how he would do all that if Dokutaro's not involved. So I guess I'm asking, do you think he's just kind of influenced by Dokutaro when he's doing all that? So while the main Pokemon's not involved, it kind of is in this form? Or is Kieran kind of doing all this himself? Like he's not possessed at all, and that aura is just like a reflection of how evil-hearted he's become in a sense. And maybe it's not Dokutaro's aura that resurrects the Loyal 3. Maybe it was just evil aura in general, because now Kieran has it. Is there a shot that Kieran is not possessed at all and is just evil because of his own self? I think that would be really cool. Anyhow, make sure to shank that like button, let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you posted if more stuff pops up. Take care.